okay, that was another disruption. But there was a key ingredient in all of these. They connected with the consumer. They provided a choice for the consumer and let the consumer decide what the consumer wanted at the end. And I think this is very, very important for us to acknowledge that at the end of the day, it is the consumer that makes a decision. And Earthmind or Created Diamonds are now at a level playing field for the decision of the consumer.
So you talked about the FTC guides, and for those of you who, many of us or most of us sitting here are operating in India. So FTC is the Federal Trade Commission in the US, and their guides are, the US gem and jewelry industry is governed by them, or they follow those guides. And in some ways, yes, they have created a level playing field for those who are in the US. But I believe in the international markets, it has probably created more confusion. Because, if I can just finish, at the recently, the KP meeting which was held here in Mumbai 2 weeks ago, also there was this discussion because the ISO very clearly still, anything which is man-made in terms of the diamonds, they still, if you look at the ISO, I think it is 18023, which is confidence, consumer confidence in the gem and jewelry industry. It defines anything man-made as synthetic. The SIPJO Blue Book, which is followed by many industries, they also call it synthetic. So except US, in rest of the world, the nomenclature is different, but that's something which is beyond our control, so we will see how that is really addressed. But the question I have is, and I think both of you make this very good point about the consumer should make a choice. And earlier also, in the earlier panel, there was discussion about the credibility of the industry. And there was some discussion about how to re-establish what needs to be done, etc., etc. So as far as our industry is concerned, we are seeing a lot of changes, the hallmarking initiative, and the Ministry of Commerce wants to bring in standardization for lab guidelines, etc. So at the end of the day, it is a consumer confidence. Now, in terms of the consumer confidence and transparency, etc., should we really tell the consumers about how the product is made? So in terms of that, so for example, there is treatment which is done for the man-made diamonds, laboratory-grown diamonds, and that is not necessarily disclosed. How do you think we should deal? I understand it's part of the manufacturing process. How do you think consumer needs to know that? How should we deal with this? They may or may not care, I don't know. So what's your view on that, Amish?
So I think the first and foremost thing, and you're 100% right, that the consumer should be given absolute disclosure, and they should be made aware of the process. In Created Diamonds, different growers follow different processes, and once again, as a grower, we follow, and again, rightfully, like you said, as an American based company, we follow all federal trade guidelines, and we work with laboratories right now in US that actually any ultra-created diamond that goes to the consumer goes certified with absolute disclosure as required by FTC. And
I don't, do they say, and maybe I don't have sufficient information, is the treatment disclosure I haven't seen on any such report?
According to FTC, there are certain requirements that need to put in certain, I guess, codes about whatever is the process. We basically rely on the laboratories that are doing it, that are ISO certified, as well as work in sync with the laboratories. And it's very important, see, consumer confidence is about disclosure. Like the simplest way, like you said, is how is a diamond grown? And it's almost like a mystery to many. Most people that I've come across, I go to seminars or trainings, or even to my own people many times, that a created diamond is actually grown from a diamond. And that's the reason it is not like granite or all these other composites, because they are not started from simulants, chemicals, or as such. A created diamond is born from a diamond, and very interestingly for people in the tech field, did you know that recently, and this is very exciting because two interesting products are getting worked in the marketplace, and one of them happens to be leather. Lab-grown leather is something you will see in the next few years come to the market, and interestingly, the who's of the brands have actually made comments about it, that they are going to offer it to the consumer as a choice. And I think when I see the opportunity of created diamonds, my core focus is that as an industry, we have to give an informed choice to the consumer and educate them and let them decide what they would opt to wear.
I agree with you completely. As a consumer, I'm part of the industry and talking as that person now, industry participant. But as a consumer, I think you're absolutely right. I want to have a choice. And for example, in clothing, I may buy a natural silk, I may buy a synthetic silk. It depends on for what occasion I'm buying and different varieties of silk. So I appreciate that completely, that the consumer is the king at the end of the day. So talking of a different, taking on a different aspect of this, and I have just one more question for both of them, and then I would like to open up so we can have more debate rather than me asking questions, and that is about the sustainability and the provenance claim. Again, in India, we haven't really seen a lot of that yet, but I see that coming here, and I think we are also evolving, we are going in that direction. So in the US, for example, the retailers have to prove and ensure that the gold that they are buying, that the metals, silver, platinum, what they are buying is from what kind of a source. Is it sustainable, provenance, where does it come from? And for many other stones also they have started. For example, the US government had banned the import of the Burmese ruby. I don't know whether the ban is still on or not. It
was
recently removed. So I think they had banned the import of Zimbabwe diamonds in between as well. So there are all such things which are happening. So claim of provenance, chain of custody, all that is becoming very important. And there are like the Beers Forever Mark, GIS, Diamond Origin Report are also providing all these services as well. So the question for you, Jignesh, is how big is the consumers? Do they value this? Is there an emphasis on this from the customer's point of view, consumer's point of view?
Absolutely, Nirubaji. I think, so I'm repeating my same point again as I earlier said, the consumer is just not buying a piece of carbon, he's buying the entire story behind the diamond. And I think Provenance is a part of that. So I think the consumer does care and has the right to know what's the where the diamond has come from, where has it been mined, has it been mined in a rightful place, has it and not just that, it's the whole real emotional story behind the diamond as well that is getting attached. So I definitely agree that provenance is very important. So as you just mentioned, I mean, as Divine Solitaires, we were in fact one of the first brands to bring in a digital experience for every single diamond that we sell under Divine Solitaires, which not just has the quality and the pricing, but also the journey of every diamond. And that we launched more than a year back when no other brands has actually launched it. And I think that is exciting our customers like never before. It's an amazing part of the experience that our customers gets in our Divine Solitaires USPs. So I think it is very important, and I think we should really carry it and make it an important part.
So it's interesting, look, for example, some of the Golconda famous diamonds, I think they're still, when they are sold in auction, they would still say these are from the Golconda mine. And so it carries a premium,
Absolutely.
it carries that
Absolutely.
origin becomes so important.
Yeah.
So Amish, in terms